Hello, everybody. My name is Nina Staple, as you probably know, and I have with me today PJ Myers, and she is from
Linton, Indiana, southwestern Indiana.
Southwestern, so you're way down by Indianapolis.
South of Indianapolis. It
Oh,
takes
really?
about 2 hours to get to Indianapolis, or at least an hour and a half. Yes, I'm
Oh, wow.
southwest of Indianapolis.
Wow. Well, I wanted to, you guys are in for a treat today. PJ's been involved in Shaklee since 2006, but she's a certified health holistic coach. And the reason I think that's interesting is because she went to a Martha Wilmore event last weekend, 2 weekends ago maybe, and I was on a call with her last week, and I just asked if she would come and share some of this stuff, because in the little bit that she had to share, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I just wanted everybody to benefit from her knowledge and what she learned again, because we all know that our bodies are so short on nutrition, and this is just some more information to help you. It may be for you and it may not be for you, but so go ahead, PJ, and share with us your knowledge that you learned, and I'm excited to hear.
Okay, well, thank you. Thank you so much, Nina. And it's really good to see you again too. I'm kind of like a sponge with nutrition. It goes in and it never comes out. It just kind of stays there. And I'm quite a note taker. So I think I took about 34 pages of notes during the Martha Wilmore event. And I'm just constantly writing the whole time. So anyway, here are some of the things I gleaned from my notes that I thought just really impacted me. And I thought I could use in my Shaklee business to share with other people. First of all, it's a fact that each cell of our body, the DNA of our cells, is attacked by about 1 million times a day. That's quite a bit. And everybody's body has cancer cells that are being created, but our immune system is supposed to be strong enough to destroy it. And so that's a big reason why we need to keep our immune system strong.
Isn't that amazing, PJ? Just that fact alone, when you say that, it's like, no wonder we have so many sick people today.
That's right. That's right.
That's a wild fact. Go ahead.
And we have 10 times more probiotic cells in our body than we have normal cells in our human body. And we know that about 70% of our immune system is in our gut, and that's where most of our probiotics are, but they're all throughout our whole body. And so that makes me really excited about the Life Shake, which one serving has the equivalent of the probiotics and 780 servings of yogurt. So I don't think that product can be beat. Another thing, and I don't know, Nina, if you have access to this picture, but she showed a picture of 2 chickens to show how critical it is that we are not even missing one nutrient. And one was the big, fluffy, healthy chicken, and the other was a real scrawny, looked like he was going to die tomorrow kind of chicken. And I think the nutrient was zinc. And one of them was missing zinc, but besides that, they were both the same nutritionally. So just missing one nutrient can really adversely affect our health. And that's why it's important to give into our bloodstream a smorgasbord, like a buffet of all the nutrients, and let each cell pick up what they need. Even Dr. Shaklee said, we don't know what each cell of our body needs, but every single cell knows what it needs, and it can pick it up out of the bloodstream. So that's why we need to have a full array of nutrients that we feed into our body so that everything can be fed. And I just love the chickens. If you get the chickens, I want to have it, Nina. And then I found out too that alfalfa is absolutely chock full of digestive enzymes of all kinds. I mean, Martha Wilmore had a list of probably about 20 digestive enzymes that are in the alfalfa. I couldn't write all those down. That slide wasn't up long enough. And
you know what's interesting about that, PJ? I had many years ago a guy who drank 7 bottles of Maalox a day. His guts were so messed up. Mm-hmm. And all he did was start taking alfalfa, and he got rid of all of that.
Yeah. And another thing I knew from another place is alfalfa has vitamin U in it. Do you know what vitamin U does? It helps prevent ulcers.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I didn't know it was vitamin U.
There is a vitamin U, but a lot of these vitamins have not really been really recognized.
Yeah. Wow.
And she did mention, back to the probiotics, that no one stays well long term without adequate probiotics in their system. And she did say if you're using the pre and probiotic system together that Shaklee has, the pre feeds the pro, and then per hour it creates 8 to 20 billion probiotics, and also that's strong enough to work with C. diff and MRSA to help counter those gross infections that are really, really strong infections in our body. And I like the quote that she used concerning getting over major diseases. Like I knew that it takes a lot longer to get over a major disease, degenerative disease, once you've been diagnosed, than it does to prevent it in the first place. But her quote was, "Don't try to win big battles with minimal arsenal." You know, like if you're fighting cancer or something, you can't just take protein and Vitamin E. You may have to take a lot of Shaklee products, as well as do the diet and lifestyle changes. And I like what Marian Weimer added to that. She says you can't put out the fires of hell with a squirt gun. And that's what a lot of people try to do. Well, I'll do this little bit, maybe I can overcome my cancer or my diabetes, or, you know.
And you know what I was always taught on that line is that the base amounts that are on the bottle were set up for a 26-year-old male back in the 50s. Yeah. Life is totally different today.
Yeah.
And if you've got an ailment that you're trying to get in front of,
right,
you use supplements like a medicine almost.
And you know, since then we have way less nutrients in our soils. We have way more toxicity in our environment. We have way more stress in our lives. Our nutrient needs have gone way up.
Yeah.
And I was happy to hear from her that there's no known toxicity for the levels of D3 that you may take. So don't be afraid to take 3, 4, 5,000 IU a day. And
I think everybody needs 3,000 to 5,000 units a day.
And then she used an example about that. She said D3 reduces breast cancer risks by 50% if you take 2,000 IU per day, and by 80% if you take 5,000 IU per day. And I thought, wow, you know, if I had breast cancer, or I knew somebody that had breast cancer, I would really want them to know that. And another thing that I had kind of known but forgotten, and it is so important, heat processed calcium becomes bound and is not absorbable. And
say that again. Heat
processed calcium becomes bound and is not absorbable. And a lot of our calcium supplements that are out there on the market, not Shaklee, but others, are heat processed. And they're also compressed so tightly they can't even dissolve as they go through your body. And
as well as different foods that have calcium in them are heat processed, therefore it binds the calcium.
Right, when they're pasteurized. Pasteurization is a heat process, and it binds up the calcium. That's why we can be the #1 consuming country in the world of dairy products, and yet have the highest osteoporosis rate of any other country. We have a false sense of security about our calcium.
They need to drink raw milk.
Yeah, and you get a lot of calcium in your dark green leafies. And so I'm really excited about the new Shaklee product, the Shaklee Organic Greens Booster. And I just put one little scoop in my smoothie every morning, and voila, you've got that covered.
And you said that by using, maybe that's later in your notes, but are you going to talk about that stuff later? How it really ups the benefit of some other stuff?
I think so, but write that down just in case I forget.
Okay.
And Dr. Browse, some people, how some people will say, well, I use other vitamins, I'm okay. Well, Dr. Browse has said the most expensive nutritional program is the one that does not work. Because a lot of people say, well, Shaklee's too expensive. Well, water's a lot less expensive than gasoline. Why don't we just put water in our tanks? We got to put
the other point of that, and I remember Roland always saying this. So if you're taking other vitamins, how do you feel? Do you feel great?
Yeah.
To me, that's an awesome question, because if you're taking other stuff and you still feel horrible, then it ain't working.
And before I got into Shaklee, I took other vitamins, and the lady that approached me 3 times to get into Shaklee and said, if you use this protein and this Vital E 1 month consistently, you'll feel better. You'll get your money refunded. I said, I'm covered. I'm using vitamins. Well, I had a list this long of nutritional deficiencies. I got in Shaklee 1 month later. I'm like, good grief, this stuff works. I feel so much better. I'm bouncing around. And now I'm 65 years young. I'm on no medications. I'm abounding with energy. I'm very flexible. I'm stronger than I've been for years. I don't get sick. I can be around people coming in to get their Shaklee, coughing and I got the flu and all this stuff, and I never catch it. I've been in hospitals with my father-in-law where people are throwing up with the flu, and I don't get sick. And he's almost 94. He didn't get sick either. And that was amazing. That was this last winter. And another thing, I'll wait here a minute.
Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Another thing Martha Wilmore says, she says, be patient. Nothing heals the body in less than 3 months. Why? It's because our red blood cells live 120 days, and that's what carries our smorgasbord of nutrients. It's in our bloodstream. And so we need to give our bodies 120 days to even expect changes.
Yes.
And
we were always taught if you've had an ailment for 2 years, if it's been 4 years, expect 4 months before you get any results.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that she says, wait and expect 3 months before you get results.
Yeah, don't even expect any results till you've had all this consistently in your system for 3 months.
Yeah. And it's amazing. Keep track of everything that's going on before you start on supplements.
That's right. And yes, and see what changes. And then write it down right away before you forget. And then she said Vivix works better with CoQ10. I didn't know that. But that's one thing.
Works better with what?
Vivix works better with CoQ10. CoQ Heart, Shaklee's CoQ Heart. And then she said there's some recent Shaklee research that's being done, and it's not been released yet. And she said that they have found that if you take 8 of the Shaklee Omega Guard a day, your body cannot form a clot. You know, so like a lot of people worry about clots, you know.
And blood thinners.
Mm-hmm. And then, let me see. And then Dr. Browse, this was amazing to me. When we were talking about the greens, the Shaklee Organic Greens Booster, Dr. Browse has made this statement: when a leaf is cut from the root, there's an immediate reduction in some of the most beneficial antioxidants. Okay, so you go and you buy some, let's say some romaine lettuce, and you cut it off the stem, and immediately it's losing those antioxidants. You eat it the next day. How much is left? So, you know, when you get the greens booster, I mean, that's taken care of just immediately. And I just know all those nutrients are still in there. But a lot of times,
just like fresh squeezed orange juice, because vitamin C is not stable in a liquid form. As soon as it gets squeezed, the next day, if you have orange juice in your fridge, it's 70% of the vitamin C is gone.
Mm-hmm. And also, and if the vitamin C was grown, if the oranges were grown on trees that have been sprayed, a lot of that vitamin C might already be used up in it because it's cleaning out the pesticides or whatever, the spray, out of the orange. So, and then, also with the greens booster, she said, don't cook it. If you make soup or something and put it in afterwards. You don't want to destroy any of the nutrients or the enzymes in it. And she mentioned the inflammation inflammation in the brain damages brain cells, and they have linked the inflammation to Alzheimer's. And like the omega-3s, and well, she mentioned a lot of safe anti-inflammatories that Shaklee has. She mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. She said these Shaklee products are anti-inflammatory, and inflammation has to do with so many diseases in our bodies. Anything that ends in itis is an inflammation disease, inflammatory disease. These are the anti-inflammatory products Shaklee has: alfalfa, the organic greens booster, the Omega Guard, and D3. She said D3 reduces inflammation anywhere in the body. And Vivix breaks the inflammation cycle. So those 5. And then she also recommended her celery flush for inflammation. And that's in her, she's got a bunch of packets, and that's in her packet that's about detoxification.
Yes, if anybody wants that information on the celery flush, ask either of us.
And then also, if anybody has plantar fasciitis, which is very hard to treat, she strongly recommended using Recover, the Shaklee Sports Recover product for that. And it's also very good for gout because it's got cherry extract in it. And, you know, they say for gout, oh, just drink cherry juice. No, cherry juice is 10% cherry and 90% everything else. And it's got a lot of sugar in it, which counters its benefit. So the cherry extract is so much better. Also, the blood pressure product, what it actually does, she says it doesn't directly lower blood pressure, though it will overall. She said what it does is it strengthens the blood vessel walls and it makes them more elastic so that as your blood pressure changes, it can adjust with it. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, my 93-year-old father-in-law is going to get a heart catheterization and get a heart valve replacement soon. And he's been taking the Shaklee blood pressure for 2 years. And I'm thinking, okay, it makes the blood vessel walls more elastic and stronger. So he's less likely to have it go, you know, the catheter go through his blood vessel where he bleeds to death. And also, if it will be more flexible, it'll be easier to get a catheter up there. So anybody looking at a heart catheterization, I'm thinking the blood pressure would be a really good product as you're preparing for that.
You know, PG, I had a guy that had high blood pressure, and the doctor wanted him on medication because he was 184 over, can't remember what it was, but I'm like, you should definitely do the blood pressure and then let's work with it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to, so he did our blood pressure and Omega, and within a month, his blood pressure was down to 124 over 72. And hearing that story, I have another gentleman who had the exact same results from doing Omega and blood pressure.
And my father-in-law does the omega-3s and the blood pressure. And he was on 3 blood pressure medications, and they had to cut one of them out because, see, his blood pressure was low, high, and it wasn't stable. And with the blood pressure, it started stabilizing more. It wouldn't vary as much. And it was like gradually just coming down like this. And so he had to go off one blood pressure medicine and the other one was cut in half. And now we're looking at the possibility of doing away with the other. So he's just on one.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
No more side effects from those, right?
Just side benefits.
Yep.
And then she talked about building a healthy home, and I was interested to see what her plan was for the very basics that she recommends for somebody. And these basics just cost about, she said, about $2.25 a day. It's a better investment than a cup of coffee, you know, that you buy for your health. And what she was recommending at the very foundation is the Life Shake protein, because there you get all your amino acids, and you get your probiotics, and you get so much more fiber and stuff. Then she recommended at least 1 Herblax a day to clean out the bowels for better absorption. And the Vital E for your multivitamin, multimineral supplement, 2 a day. And then alfalfa, 10 a day. And the alfalfa for a lot of your digestive enzymes. It's got a lot of chlorophyll. It cleans out the body. It's like opening the windows and letting the fresh air blow through, cleaning out the junk. So anyway, that was what she recommended to build a healthy house. And I'll show you my notes. I put it on here. It looks like a little house, you know, right there. So she made a little visual. And then she was talking about her basic kids program she likes to do. And for children, she likes to put them on a multi. And there's 3 different kinds of children's multis that they can take. They're chewable. And then she also said they need the protein, the Life Shake with probiotics for their immune system. And then also they need their essential fatty acids, their omega-3s for their brain. A child's brain, I have learned, is growing massively before they're born. It's so important for the pregnancy that they take omega-3s. And then after the baby's born, it slows down slightly, but it's still growing by leaps and bounds the first year of the child's life. And they really need those omega-3s then. And then it slows down a little bit up, but it's still doing major development up to the age of 5. And then after the age of 5, it really slows down. So if you want your child to be really smart, that's a good thing. And I heard from somebody else, Ellie Cullen, who does the blood testing. She said everybody who had ADHD, when she did their blood work, they were low in their omega-3s.
Interesting.
So if you don't want your kids to have these problems, why not preload them? Why not feed them the omega-3s?
Yeah, and we found a lot of kids that do have the problems the omega-3 makes a huge difference for.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then another thing she said was, this was from Dr. Browse, a statement from Dr. Browse, who's over in Oregon. He said to reduce the risk of estrogen dominance from xenoestrogen exposures, which are like chemical type estrogens in our environment. He said you need 25% of your protein intake daily to come from soy protein. Xenoestrogen exposure the xenoestrogens are way, way stronger than regular estrogen in our bodies, and they cause a lot of hormonal cancers. And we have just so many estrogen receptors in our body. If it fills up with phytoesters, like soy esters that are really, really weak, then it'll crowd out the really, really strong ones that are causing these hormonal cancers.
But I want to add to that, PJ, too, though. It's not all soy products. Soy is not all created equal. And
right.
Huge how most soy that's out there on the market is alcohol washed. And that takes away a bunch of the stuff.
Isoflavones, yeah.
Yes. The phytoestrogens and phytonutrients that are in our soy.
Mm-hmm.
So I always say to people, if you want to drink an alternative milk, do not drink soy milk.
Yeah, and a lot of it's GMO. Like I think Shackley said 90% of the soy that is available out there is genetically modified now.
Yes.
And that's kind of scary.
But it's not just the GMO, because before GMO was an issue,
yeah,
this water washing and alcohol washing was a huge issue out there. Yeah. So it goes back to quality again. And
isn't Shackley the only one that's water washed of all the soy proteins out there?
I don't know that that's a true statement.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say yes to that.
Okay. I'd heard that. I haven't checked it out though.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, the liver. The liver is so neglected. She said every minute, all your blood circulates through your liver. It's your blood filter. And I didn't realize it was every single minute all your blood flows through. And she said all it takes for you to have a dirty liver is to have a sluggish bowel. And if your bowels aren't moving real regularly, which Herb Blacks helps that, then, and the probiotics help too.
Yes.
But if your bowels are sluggish, when that stuff sits in your bowel, it's going to be reabsorbed with the water. It's going to be, those toxins and things are going to be reabsorbed, and old hormones and everything into your system and have to go through the liver again. And you become more and more and more toxic as you can't get rid of the junk.
That's why so many people end up with gallstones too. Did you know that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Because if your colon is sluggish or constipated, as that bile's trying to come down into the intestinal tract, it can't get in because of the constipation. So it backs up, and then that creates the gallstones.
Right now I'm thinking of people who've had their gallbladder removed or had gallstones, and the ones I'm thinking of that I know real well, they've been constipated.
It's always the case. I have a client that was constipated for years. She didn't like to use Herb Blacks all the time because she thought it would be habit forming. And she ended up doing the gallbladder flush. And she said, you wouldn't believe this, but I lost 70 to 90 little gallstones.
Wow.
Because they all float. Yeah. So she uses Herb Blacks faithfully now. Go ahead.
And another thing she mentioned that I didn't know, the Nutriferon, she said, works best with a completely developed immune system. And she said the immune system is completely developed around the age of 12. And so, you know, people ask her, is it safe for younger children? She said, basically it is, but it'll work best if the child is 12 or older. And then I have lost this. She shared something that I had lost, and I need to get a hold of it again, Nina, if you have a copy. Corey Peters, the little boy, he was sick all his life until he was put on Shackley at about the age of 9. And the mother had his records of all the times he went to the doctor from his birth up through age 9. And after he was introduced to Shackley, it's like a long list of going to the doctor every year. And then after he was introduced to Shackley and got on Shackley products, his mother put him on. The list got shorter and shorter, and then he didn't have any doctor visits.
How many people don't we see that way as well?
Yeah.
Your body's amazing if it's given what it needs.
Yes, it is. And it's, you know, I like that statement that with Shackley, we don't have side effects, we have side benefits. And, you know, another thing Martha Wilmore said, she said, your cells don't know when you take something, they don't know the brand of what you take. They don't know if it's, you know, if, you know, how it was made or anything like this. They just know if they can use it or not. And so we need to put quality into our bodies so our cells will recognize and use it to build.
Sorry, should have put all of my phones in the other room.
And then there's just one other thing that I didn't share last time. She mentioned 10 rules for optimal health. Do you want me to just run through those real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. She said, okay, number 1, eliminate avoidable toxins. And number 2, it takes 6 to 7 times the normal amount of nutrition to build and repair than to maintain health.
That's why so many people take so many supplements when they're trying to rebuild something that they've let fall apart.
Yep, that's right. And she said nothing heals the human body in less than 3 months, and add 1 month for every year of illness.
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
Mm-hmm. And then number 4, she said, you must take responsibility for your own health. And I remember a quote from my mom. She said, take care of your health. Nobody else will. Not your spouse, not your kids, nobody. And number 5, eat as close to nature as possible. Number 6, exercise regularly. Number 7, drink really pure water, as pure as you can get it. And number 8, use quality food supplements. And when she mentioned that, she mentioned the thing again that 1 carrot in 1900 had the nutrients that about 8 carrots have today. So you'd have to like eat at the trough, put the trough around your neck and eat from it all day long to get what you would get in normal meals back in 1900.
Wow.
So, and then number 9, relax and rest appropriately. Our bodies need to recoup. And then number 10, laugh and love. Laugh and love. She said, hug somebody today. And is that it? Yep, that's it. Top 10 rules for optimal health.
That's what my next live is going to be on, is the benefits of hugging.
That's good.
Because it's huge. So, okay, this is awesome. And I hope that, I appreciate it very much, PJ. And I hope that all of you who have watched this have learned something. I just listened to PJ the first time. It's like, you know, renews things in your mind, or you learn new stuff, either way. So thank you very much for watching. Have an awesome day.